Hello and welcome to the Lou Review. I am your host, Rosa Hart, and today I have a special guest. Her name is Brittany Penny, and she is the CEO of 2 Cents Inc., and then they have a very special bourbon called the 9. So, Brittany, thank you so much for coming to be on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So, tell us some more about 2 Cents and the 9 bourbon.
Yes, so 2 Cents Inc. is a company that we started back in 2020 during a COVID lockdown when I was pregnant with my first child. And the reason behind that is because my husband, he just drank constantly. And so...
Not you during COVID
yes,
when you're pregnant.
My husband, because this was our first child. He was super nervous.
Aww.
So he just kept on drinking, and the nose, God, the pregnancy nose is insane, right? So I kept on picking up all these different flavors and notes and different things, and I just kept smelling all this stuff. And so then I was just like, I think I want to start my own company.
And you had been drinking bourbon before that.
Yes, I had.
Pregnant, right?
Yes, I was the girl that was 22, and when, my female friends were drinking their wine and Cosmos and things like that, I drank a Woodford Neat, like an old man. So,
did you learn to drink like that from an old man? How did that come about?
My dad, he's a big bourbon guy. He loves bourbon, things like that. So he always taught me to drink bourbon and things like that. So when I came of age, that's what I just knew. I just knew bourbon. And I mean, of course, I tried like other things, but I always came back to bourbon. So when I was pregnant and it was COVID and everybody was like, trapped inside, I was just like, I want to start, my own company. My husband was like, yeah, that'll be cool. Then the baby came. It was about August, September, and she's about 2-3 months old. Wasn't sleeping at all. So I was like, guess what we're going to do? Since we're up and it's 2 a.m., we're going to start working on this company.
Okay.
So we started. So the bourbon 2 Cents Inc. launched in September of 2020. And we had our first product, which is the 9 bourbon, on the market in April of 2021. That's
fast. That's really fast. Now, first of all, where did the name 2 Cents come from? Is it you and your husband? Like 2 pennies put together?
Correct. It is just that simple. Last name Penny and Penny, so it's 2 Cents Inc. And also because it's our 2 cents on bourbon. It is our way that we see it, things like that. So it's 2 Cents Inc.
Well, that's fantastic. So what bourbon, what kind of bourbon do you like? Do you prefer a wheated bourbon, or what tasting notes really usually stand out for you where you would want to look for that and say, that's my brand? I want to put that in a bottle with my label on it.
Yes. I look for something that is sweeter. I look for something that doesn't have a lot of burn to it. I look for something that is easy, that is simple, that doesn't need cocktail mixing, all that good stuff. I want something to where I can pour it out and go, and that's it. Because who has time to do cocktails anymore, right?
Right.
And sometimes I just want to pour it out and just go, and that's what the 9 bourbon does, and that's what I kind of go for. I kind of go for a chocolatey type of caramely, vanilla type, little bit of fruit, a little tad bit of spice on the back end, and that is the 9 bourbon.
Fantastic. So how did you find a source for this? You weren't making this in your backyard. So.
No, I was not. We actually came across a contact, and we reached out to them, and through talks we visited them in a facility, and they was like, well, we got barrels if you want to taste through some things. So we tasted let's back up. My husband tasted through 14 barrels because I still couldn't taste anything because I was breastfeeding at that time. So I couldn't taste anything, but I was still nosing everything. And we put it down to about 5 barrels. And then I kept on nosing, like, all these are great for like different reasons. Like some of them are super good. Some of them I like the finish of them or something like that. So then I was kind of sitting back thinking, why don't we just put them all together and kind of see what happens? Now, they tasted
Let's
different.
blend 5 different barrels.
Yes, with the 5 different barrels, and let's just kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, I have no background in any of this. I really don't know what I was even doing or anything like that. But I just
admit there was some sleep deprivation happening.
Yes,
so
I'm a new mom, things like that, and I was like, yeah, let's just blend it. Let's just kind of see what happens.
Okay.
And so that is
But you were blending in a small quantity first
to
test it. So it's not like you really like poured 5 barrels
right
out.
Exactly. We were blending in very small quantities, and it came down to 3 different proofs, and we just picked a 95 proof because it just smelled right. It just smelled perfect. And I was like, this is it. Let's go. So we did that. And fun fact is that I didn't get to taste it until it was already done.
Oh my goodness.
Until it was bottled on the shelf, just there. And I'm like, I hope this comes out good.
Well, and you had your husband and other people
My
tasting
husband,
it, I'm sure.
Kept on trying to, confirm. But I'm very type A. Like, I have to try it. I have, it's not that I don't trust him, but I have to try it, you know? So, but, I didn't try it until it was all done. And it came out wonderful. I love it. It's one of my favorite. I wish I would have brought some here, but I completely forgot.
Well, that sounds like an excuse for us to get together again.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah. And I totally get what you're saying as far as, I can have any bourbon in a cocktail, really. But there are very few that I want to have neat. And I've got it narrowed down to, so far, because I actually haven't tried the IX Bourbon. I just have been following you as a person and wanted to connect with you as a person. And then I find out if I like your bourbon later. And I like Green River Bourbon Straight.
So good.
That I tried really adding a drop of water, and it opened up something very unpleasant. And I was like, nope, not doing that ever again. We're going to have this by itself. So that's my straight bourbon. My husband went to mix it with something the other day. I'm like, no, not that one. I was like, I'm saving that one. And then Michter's Rye. I really like that. So
Michter's is a good one, too.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Well, they've got some good women nosing things over there, too.
See? And that's where it's at. I'm like, these companies need to know, have the women out there nosing stuff, because we have a better sense of smell and things like that, and we just have more taste buds and all that stuff.
Well, you had that pregnancy, hyped up sense
of
smell,
phenomenal.
too.
It was phenomenal. I picked up so many different things. It was just crazy. But
more than you normally would.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you decide you wanted to do a bourbon business as opposed to any other kind of business? Well, it was really just being inundated with the smells from your husband. Is that really what?
Yeah, that, and also I like it. I just like bourbon. I like to drink it. I'm in, Kentucky. Yeah. So why not? And I always said, find out what you love and then learn how to get paid from it. So that was bourbon. That was bourbon. And it just made sense. It just made sense to just go ahead and do a bourbon company and start out there.
So did you know any other people like you who had started a bourbon business that you were friends with or could mentor you in the process, or who helped you in this process since you're
Absolutely not. I was new. I was new, and I just came up with this and wanted to start something. But I tell you who has been a savior, and that's a group called Bourbon Women. I don't know if you know about them, but they are amazing. And shout out to my mentor, Peggy Stevens. She is phenomenal, and she has been a huge help to me. She has connected meet with so many different people and women. And women, I just kind of feel as if I found my tribe. Like, these are whiskey women, bourbon women who love bourbon. And it is phenomenal. So, yes.
And I'm really looking forward to the Bourbon Women class, the cooking class coming up in January. Are you going to that?
I might be. I got to check my calendar because I have so much going on.
Right, exactly.
So, yes, but yes.
I have not been able to go to a specific Bourbon Women event, but I've been a member for a year because I wanted to.
Have you been to our conference?
No.
Symposium?
No.
OMG.
I would have to take off 3 or 4 days from work to do it, so I just didn't get a chance to yet.
It is worth
Trust.
it. Save up your PTO, your vacation time. It is worth it. It is a phenomenal conference. It is something to where you can go and meet so many different people. And it's not Kentucky only. It's people from Texas,
there's a Tennessee
Florida,
chapter.
California, Georgia even. There's all these people and they come here to Louisville. And it's just a great time. Not to mention there's alcohol pouring from the ceiling. So bourbon starts at like 8 and you're tasting so many different flights and learning different things. And, the workshops are great. And it is a fun time. The distilleries, they take you everywhere. So there's no need to drive. Like once...
Oh, so it's not just one location you're traveling together?
Once you come in, like that, I believe they start Thursday. Once you come in that Thursday, you don't drive anywhere until you leave on Sunday. They got buses that take you to different places and things like that. Yes.
That's fantastic. I didn't realize that. I kind of thought it was just going to be inside of a hotel, like with different classes.
Yeah.
That's the kind of conferences I've been to.
There's that part too, but there's also like tours and
fantastic
excursions and things that you can go to. Last year, we went to Angels Envy. A few years ago, we went to Woodford. My husband goes to. He went to Heaven Hill at one point. So and it's not just for women. I mean, it's primarily women. But there are some guys too that goes, and my husband goes too.
I think there's most of the bourbon clubs or whatever you want to call them in Louisville are so male dominated. I love the space that Bourbon Women has created for a more feminine conversation around bourbon, because that way we're not just like, who can drink the most or whatever, like I know I listen to other podcasts like Bourbon Pursuit and they can get really, specific about things, but I don't know, there's just a nuance to the feminine conversation that I really enjoy, and I really appreciate them highlighting. Heather Whipples was actually on this podcast.
I love
cocktail
Heather.
Content.
Yes,
she's she's just magnificent.
She is. Yes,
and I love
she's
her
awesome.
cookbook. Her cocktail cookbook,
and her cocktails are magical. I was like, Heather, what'd you put in here? Because it's so good.
Well, she's the one who taught me about, mixing things based on smell. So when you were describing that, just from her frame of reference, that's how she mixes her cocktails that win awards and things. Yeah. And then here you go, mixing your own bourbon. So that's fantastic.
That is it. But yes, so they have been the hugest help. And then just found out that I'm on their board now. So that is breaking news. I know, the foundation. Yes, so I'm on their board. And so our first, I think it's in January, when I get to see everybody and meet everybody. So I'm super excited about that. But yes, they are phenomenal. So great group.
I guess you could say we are phenomenal.
Oh, well, yes, we are phenomenal now, because, yes, I am a part of it.
You are Bourbon Women.
Yes.
Well, and I love Peggy No Stevens. I follow her on Instagram, and she makes some of the most awesome videos, like on, is she on TikTok, too? They should be, because they're reels and stuff.
I don't think so, but I'm going to have to tell her to get on TikTok.
Well, I mean, she just reposts the reels too.
Yeah,
TikTok.
Exactly.
I follow her on Instagram, but she's just I can tell she's such a gracious hostess, and just the way she describes the pairings of, you do this drink with this food, and it's just so inviting.
Yes.
I'm like, I want to go to your house.
She is
and sit down
awesome.
with
Like,
you.
we go, like, out to eat, sometimes, and I could sit and talk to her for, like, hours. And we're talking about everything else but bourbon. I was like, hold on, let's get back to business. We have, because, sometimes we just get, so caught up in just talking to get she's so personable, and she's just so just like chill and everything, and I'm like, oh wait, Peggy, I have to ask you this bourbon a question or business question or something like that, and she's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, but she's the best mentor, and I'm so thankful to have her. And it's so funny because we were on a panel for NABO, the National Association Women Business Owners.
Business owners.
Yes. And so I'm on this panel with her, and she's asking the panel about mentors, and I just answered, honestly. I was just like, well, Peggy, I don't have one. I'm trying to find, somebody. And she said in front of everybody. Ooh. Now, this room was like 200 people, right?
Wow.
She said in front of everybody, oh, well, I'm here. I'm sitting right here. Just ask me. And I was like, and so I was sitting like on stage, like, okay. like, yay. So,
because like sometimes we need that permission, right? Because we don't want to, like, I don't know, quote unquote, burden somebody with us feeling, I don't know. This is how I feel. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm too needy because I want to do a lot for myself, but I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
About how to do that.
Exactly.
Without sabotaging myself, please. And sometimes people can get scared off by a whole lot of questions. So the fact that she gave you basically that invitation was so kind, and that's fantastic. You've been able to build such a great relationship there.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. I was just like, oh wow. Okay. Right? But yeah.
But I mean, it just goes to show, like, she said it like she was surprised you hadn't asked, right?
She kind of was. And I was just like, well, I mean, because you're Peggy No Stevens. Like,
I'm glad she doesn't think of herself like that.
Right. Me too. But I was just like, I'm up here, like, thinking, like, she's got 20 different things going on. She's always at tastings and, like, judging and speaking. And then she has her own business doing things. And I'm just like, well, why would she want to talk to me? But she does. And she's awesome. So,
that's fantastic. And so I think there's something, to be learned there, that you have not because you ask not. Right? Definitely
that. And I have learned that I am not shy anymore. I will go up to anybody's door and just be asking, like, hey, can I ask you something? Or, hey, can I talk to you, about this? It doesn't matter. Like, I just go, because I just think now the worst thing that they could say is no. So,
exactly. And then okay. You're not worse off than when you started.
Exactly.
So, you used to work in nonprofits before this, right?
I did.
Were you part of the fundraising process then?
No, I was part of marketing. Okay. I did their digital, their social, mainly. So I would go and capture content and post it and make cute little videos and graphics and things like that. So now I just do that for 2 cents. Fantastic. So everything that you see online, the website, everything, that's all me.
Is it harder to promote your own brand than, like, someone you were working for?
Yes and no. Because I'm the star of the show, but also I'm the camera person too. And I'm also the makeup and hairstylist and everything else. So it's hard to get.
Your hair looks great, by the way. I love it.
Thank you. But it's hard to get all of everything when you're always on stage. So now I have a gimbal, that follows me around, which is super cool. I know that was like my Christmas gift. So I bought like a gimbal that I can use, and it has the AI tracking, so it like follows me and stuff. It's so cool. So because my husband is there, but sometimes he's like talking to people or doing other things.
Or holding babies.
Yes.
Because you got 2 young babies.
Right, that too. So I was just like, I kind of wanted something. Yeah, but I mean, that's the hardest part, but it's easy to come because I just know the product so well, and I know the business, and I love it, and it's my business, so I know how to speak in that voice versus working for someone else. It's like you got to speak into their voice. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. Because you want to be on brand.
Right.
And if you're determining what your brand is, and you have a good understanding of branding, like when you walked in here, you came in with a 2 cents jacket on over a jacket of the 9 brand. And you're like, I am very branded today.
I am very branded because sometimes I just forget. I'm like, oh, shoot, I probably should put on like a jacket or a pen. And I have so much stuff. I mean, we have hats, bags, jackets, pens, everything, and I just come out with nothing on, just a random jeans and sweatshirt or something like that, and I'm like, oh, I failed. Okay.
But also like the voice of your brand, right? Like you want it to sound authentic to you, which is a lot easier than trying to be authentic to some nonprofit and how they want to come across to their audience instead of this is more of a representation of maybe you as a person.
Exactly. And the fact that it's a representation of me and my husband, because we are family owned. But it's also because I want to do bourbon marketing different. Bourbon, people tend to think it is an old man's drink, and it's not. And I want to cater that to women as well as younger generation, because they kind of feel like, I'm not drinking that, my dad drinks that or somebody else drinks that. And I'm like, no, it's actually for everyone. So that's what the brand, 2 cents, everything about it is, just to involve everybody and be like, come try this amazing bourbon and you will love it. I love doing tastings because there are people that come up and they be like, oh, I don't drink bourbon. No, I'm sorry, I don't drink it. I was like, look, just do me a favor. Just try it. Just try it. And I teach them to, code it first and then take the second sip, right? Don't shoot it. It is not tequila. Don't shoot it. Just, get to know it. And people, they tend to like it. Yeah. And so,
that's true. You never know till you try. I thought I didn't like Rise until I had a flight of Michter's. There was 4 on this flight. It was a nice flight, having 4.
I know.
That was at Steak and Bourbon. So, by the way, they do flights of 4 there. And I was like, oh, I don't really like Rye. Could I just have a different bourbon? And they were like, well, if you want to pay like $600 more. I was like, maybe not. So, I think I'll take the Rye. And then that ended up being my favorite one.
Yeah.
So, you just never know until you try.
Yeah, you just try it. Now, like I said, the 9 bourbon is for people that don't really drink it. It is for people that are new to bourbon, but it's also for people that love bourbon because it is a smooth finish. It is sweet a little bit. It has less of the burn going, but it still gives you a little warm and cozy feeling. But it's just a great product.
Yeah. So it's been on shelves since 2021. Where all can people get it?
Okay, so let me get this list right. We got Westport Whiskey and Wine. We have Liquor Depot. We have Frankfurt Avenue Liquors. We have Derby City and Tobacco Liquors. Liquor City. Now, those are where you can purchase it. But if you just want to try and you happen to be at the Louisville Thoroughbred Society, we are there as well as Dasha Barbers and Joe's Palmer as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I need to go there then. Do some tasting.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think that might be my husband's new favorite because he needs it to be a little more beginner palatable.
Mm-hmm.
He likes things that are sweeter too.
Yes, definitely try that. So next time I come over, I will bring some, and then we can try it. I don't know what I was just so concerned with being, branded that I forgot the bourbon.
Well, that's okay. Any excuse to get to spend more time with you, Brittany.
Yes.
Well, I'm so thankful to get to know you. And if you want people to follow you on social media so they can see all your great marketing stuff you put together.
We are at 2 Cents Inc. Number 2 Cents Inc. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Because we don't do Twitter anymore because, So, yes.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. And you can follow the Lou Review podcast on Facebook as well under that name, or at Lou Food Reviews on Instagram and TikTok and all that good stuff.
Oh, and then one more thing. If you want to follow just me personally, because I am starting up to have my own thing and I want people to get to know me personally, you can follow at the 2 Cents CEO.
Oh, okay.
And that is on Instagram mainly, and then I'm going to start up a TikTok too as well.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
Well, I'll have to make sure I'm following you on there too.
Yes.
All right. So to hear more about the people who are making Louisville great with their unique pursuits, follow the Lou Review podcast on your platform of choice and subscribe so you'll be notified on the next episode, and I will see you then.